Mr. President.
Ruchti.
Thank you, Mr. President, to debate against the bill.
You have the floor.
I appreciate that the sponsor of this bill recognized the irony of having a vote about states' rights right before we remove the state from a process in favor of the federal government. That is truly the definition of irony. And this bill, make no bones about it, seeks to remove the Public Utilities Commission, the Idaho Public Utilities Commission, from a decision about whether phone lines, phone service in our rural communities, for example, can be removed. The bill was brought by a telecom company. There's nothing wrong with companies bringing bills. They do it all the time. But here's the question that I think this bill asks us to think about. Why is it in Idaho citizens' best interest to have the federal government, through the FCC, make a decision about discontinuing phone service rather than the Idaho PUC? And keep in mind, this isn't just individual consumers. This could be emergency services. This could be a community issue for many of our rural communities. We're talking about what is the best system we can put in place to make these decisions so they're fair, so they consider citizens' interests and, yes, the telecom company's interests. And we want to know what is the fairest way of making those decisions. Currently, the PUC is a decision maker in that process. It serves as the independent and neutral decision maker. This bill would make the federal government, through the FCC, the decision maker. Now, it would allow Idaho citizens, communities, and even the PUC to come weigh in. In other words, the FCC would consider what they have to say, but the PUC would not be the decision maker. So the question you have to ask yourself then is, would that be a fair system to have the FCC? Would it be independent and neutral as it listens to all parties? I think the better system is to have the Idaho PUC making those decisions. It's not that I'm saying that the FCC can't be fair, but consider this. When a telecom company wants efficiencies so it can maximize profits, and I have no problem with that. Knock yourself out. I like making money. They should like making money. But I also want to make sure that we don't put our thumb on the scale of that priority for a telecom company, because our job here is to take into consideration the interests of Idaho citizens. This particular company that brought this bill has a team of lawyers, has a team of lobbyists, operates in 15, 20 states, is well familiar with the FCC, has relationships with the FCC. Now you tell me, if you're an Idaho citizen, you rely on that hardwired phone service that you have, and you go to the FCC and you say, here's how it will affect me. Are you going to be comfortable that you're going to get a fair shake? If your community needs that hardwire service for your emergency services, are you going to have confidence that going up in front of the FCC against this company's team of lawyers, all the connections they have, are you going to get a fair shake? The way they get a fair shake is to have the PUC involved, have the PUC make those decisions. I'm not guaranteeing that that means that they will prevail. I'm telling you they'll get a fair shake. That's the system we have in place right now. This bill would remove that system. I hope that argument makes sense. If it doesn't, and you want to have a cigar with me later, I'll do it again. It may help. Thank you, Mr. President.